What's going on, people, and welcome to my match recap for yesterday's game. Manchester United 2, Brentford 1. I predicted a Brentford win, so I was delighted with the 3 points in the end. But again, it wasn't truly convincing. Scott McTominay coming on and being the hero. I mean, who would have thought that? I don't think a ton of the players had great games. I had a few at average and a few just above. I think Anana was poor again, though, and should do better. Brentford had some chances. We probably kept them quieter than they usually are in most games, but they still had their moments. But I felt like it's probably hard done by that they didn't get at least a draw from the game. But I ain't complaining. We've got 3 points. It wasn't pretty, but as long as we won, that's all I care. As I said, McTominay coming on as a late sub and grabbing 2 late goals in extra time. You got to give him credit for it. I don't like him, but he was the match winner yesterday. He's not my man of the match, but I understand why people would give it to him. I'll get to my man of the match in the ratings in a minute, but I can understand why you would, because he did win us the game. But there's other players that did their bit, I think, as well before him. In terms of the starting 11, I feel like Maguire shouldn't have started, even though I felt like he had an okay game in the end. He put Lindelof at left back, which was a bit confusing, but I think he did all right. Amrabat was in the midfield with Casemiro, but I don't think either of them performed how they should. Rashford starting ahead of Garnacho still. I just don't agree with the starting 11s a lot of the time that he picks, but we got the 3 points. So, as I said, I don't think it was very convincing at all. It was kind of a moments FC again, and even though you get the 3 points, it's kind of like, it's not sustainable. And we've seen that for a long time now. So, look, delighted we got the 3 points, but it's not sustainable. So it makes me worry for other games. And I would drop Anana at the moment. I don't care if Ten Hag spent a lot of money on him. If he ain't performing, he should be dropped. And he ain't performing at the moment, so I would drop him. Getting into the ratings, I gave Anana a 4. The Jensen goal, his hand might as well be a wet paper towel, because he should save it. And yes, there's defensive mistakes before it reaches him, but he should also save the shot. So, disappointing. I felt like he just whacked the ball up the pitch most of the time, most of the game, and didn't really play out from the back. There were maybe 1 or 2 balls here and there, but more bad balls than good. And he's not doing what we brought him in to do. So, 4, should do better for the Brentford goal as well. Delo, 5, maybe defensively at times a little bit questionable, but I thought he was positive on the ball and going forward. And he was always involved in good moments for us. So, I gave him an average. Maguire, as I said, I wouldn't have started him, but I don't think he had a terrible game. I don't think he really made many mistakes at all. A pretty solid game. His pace didn't get tested really, so I gave him an average. Johnny Evans, I gave a 6, and he is my man of the match. I just felt like he saved us numerous times where they could have caused more problems if it weren't for blocks from him. And just his reading of the game, I thought he was very effective in the game, and I thought he's been good since we got him back in. So Evans for me was my man of the match. I gave him a 6. Lindelof playing at left back out of position, I also gave him a 6. You could say that he's at fault partly for the Brentford goal, but there are others as well. And I think after that, he went on to have a good game, more so than others did. So he went off limping as well in the end and just straight down the tunnel. So I don't know if he's going to be out for a while. Hopefully it's not a massive thing. But other than the goal for Brentford, I thought he had a good game. So I gave him a 6. Casemiro and Amrabat in the midfield. We've been waiting to see Amrabat partner Casemiro because he's been playing at left back. And we got to see it in this game. And for me, it really didn't work. I don't think either of them were good on the ball. And I don't think either of them were good enough defensively. I felt like they got ran through too much. Casemiro lost the ball a few times. Amrabat he's very defensive, so he didn't really do anything on the ball. Whereas Casemiro can at times, but he didn't either yesterday. So for me, they were disappointing. I gave them both a 4. Mount, 4. I thought he looked okay in glimpses, but it's more so the fact that his teammates didn't get him on the ball enough. I felt like there was numerous times where he's in position and he should be the ball the pass that they give, and they just ignore him. I don't think he was terrible, but I did have him under average, but it's more so of the fact of, similar to the number 9 position, that people just weren't providing him the ball enough. So Mount for me 4, Bruno 5. I felt like at times he gave the ball away quite easily and struggled to get into the game, but then he is involved in good moments for us. So I just think it's hard to drop him because he is effective, and he can have a terrible game but still get an assist. And I felt like he had his moments yesterday, and I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch. So I gave Bruno an average. Rashford 4. I just felt like his body language was poor. He was throwing his arms about a lot. I don't think his work rate's always there, and I think he just doesn't always do the simple things well that you should do. So for me, not effective, 4, and shouldn't be starting ahead of Garnacho for me. Højlund 4. I thought he had some bright moments, but again, similar to Mount, they didn't get him on the ball enough. And I felt like when he did see glimpses of the ball, he tried to make things happen and we came alive a bit, but he just didn't get on the ball enough. So for me, 4. And in the subs, we had Eriksen, Martial, McTominay, Anthony and Garnacho. I gave Eriksen, Anthony and Garnacho all an average of a 5. Martial, I gave him a 4. I don't think he really affected the game. He had one chance when he came on and didn't get the connection he should have on it. Should have done better. So I gave him a 4. And McTominay I gave a 6 because he is the match winner. But I feel like it's harsh to give him it, even though he got the 2 goals to win the game, over the likes of players that are playing most of the game, like a Lindelof or an Evans who played the whole game. So for me, my man of the match would be Evans with a 6, but shout out to McTominay for winning us the game, even though I'm not a fan of him. He did produce the goods yesterday and got us out of trouble. Ten Hag, for me, I gave him a 6, just above average. Didn't agree with the starting 11. Don't always understand his tactics and his subs, but we got the 3 points, so I felt like I had to give him a slightly more than an average, even though it wasn't utterly convincing, because it's against a decent side that most weeks get a result or at least a point. I know we're at home, but the way everything's been going with this club at the moment, I'll take a 3 points anytime we can grab one. So for me, I'd give Ten Hag a 6. Hope you enjoyed it, guys, and I'll be back soon.